Hi, everybody. Today I want to try to describe navigating one of the intricacies of what I call the ascension process. It's going to include some of my own personal experiences because that's where I've been this morning, not trying to make sense out of anything as much as experiencing some layers of remembering that began today when I began to crave something, want something. So it's been an interesting morning to say the least, and I thought maybe it was time to share with everybody because I suspect that there's a crossover. If I'm talking about something and you're watching a video, there's a point. It may not be the exact feeling that's been suppressed, but chances are it's either similar or spot on. So here we go. I've been noticing that as I move through the process of awakening, that I'm beginning to want things, not in the old description of desiring stuff, possessions, etc. And as we know, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a deep soul urge arising that is expressing in the form of wanting me to write, express, listen deeply. I'll picture the movement of the heavens and the earth in words, most likely for me, for sure, but probably for other people that are attuned to certain ways of hearing things described that helps them to remember. So as these urges are being experienced by me, there's a certain level of defeatism that's rising up to greet the urges. I believe that the urges are messages from my soul to begin to ask for what I want. Probably as a way of saying to the soul that I'm ready to begin to do another level of work and play both. Because some of these urges are coming from an inner child, most likely. And as we know, children want to play. So what happens this morning? I'm sitting there trying to meditate, contemplate, reflect, and a very strong memory rises up, being about the age of 6. So much happened at the age of 6, probably sooner than that. Let's just say maybe from the ages of 4 to 6. But 6 was a stellar year in terms of earth plane experience, most of it reasonably difficult. So at the age of 6, I'm at a Serbian Orthodox picnic grove with my brother. That was a real large part of my early years. A lot of land, a lot of Serbians, a lot of cultural expression. And at the age of 6, I was at a picnic and I noticed a gift bag that was sitting on a ledge. And I wanted that gift bag. I wanted it so much that I took it and I planned it. And my brother happened to be there, so we probably egged each other on. So when I took the gift bag, I remember running away and opening up the stash like it was a treasure trove and being really pleased because of the sparkly, beautiful things in it. Whether I piece together that it belonged to another child or not. I don't know. But very quickly after I opened up the bag and began to really appreciate what was in it, an older woman came along and grabbed the bag and said some not nice things about me. Not so much the choice to take the bag, but it was about me. And most of us can piece together what I'm going to say next. There was an experience of shaming that went along with what happened. And it was so profound that 60 years later, here it is, not for the first time, but I surely hope for the last time, that this memory comes up to try to help me release it, relieve myself, release the memory, release the life force that was stolen in the experience and went underground. And I suspect that the life force has something to do with wanting or desiring, longing. And when the longing went underground, I stopped asking for what I want and began to create a reality that said, well, this is just the way it is. Because if you ask for what you want, it may be taken away in the next moment. This is as far as I've gotten with this angle of the story, but it feels very significant. Because what happens when we begin to awaken and our universe begins to show us layers of our spiritual contract, i.e., things that we have very much inclined toward doing and being and experiencing in this life. So as we make room, clear, purge our earlier experiences in a third dimensional capacity, the higher dimensions begin to come in to remind us of what we're doing here in deeper, more, hopefully more joyful frequencies. Well, what happens to me, and possibly to many, is that the experiences that speak otherwise have to come up and receive just enough light and just enough love, where the energy embodied in the suppression of the memory can be released. Because I'm finding it's almost impossible to coexist with asking for what I want and being told that it'll be taken away. That's a quandary, isn't it? And in the quandary is light. The heart knows, and the heart will show us. The heart can be trusted. That much I understand. That much I believe enough to share with anyone that happens to be listening. I can feel in my belly a release of emotional frequency, because in those last moments of my efforts to meditate and in the tears that were rising, I knew that it was just a child. And a child wants things and then learns from possibly wanting something that belonged to another. And shame doesn't have to be. So I appreciate everyone that's been listening. And I just want to remind everyone that shame is the lowest vibrating frequency emotionally on the planet. And in an awakening ascension process, thank God, shame will want to rise up and receive the light that we've worked so hard to experience. Blessings to us all.